Alrighty, guys, this is probably going to be our last reaction video with Mark. So, bye-bye, Mark. I posted a video this morning talking about Southgate being done. A lot of comments in there as well saying about how he resigned. I wasn't 100% sure what had happened. I just knew that I woke up and read that he is out. And what I was also including in the video was that sometimes in business, they give you the opportunity as a nicer way to go out to resign when you were going to get sacked. But I didn't even read through that apparently the FA were ready to offer him a new contract, which, to be honest, I'm surprised still that he's not going to be the future England manager. I see it as a positive. I talked a little bit more this morning, if you're watching this video, on that video, just analytically about more things with the situation. Today, we're just here to react to Mark's video. I'm going to not do really much crossover in terms of what I talked about in that video and this video. So we're here to react to what he has to say. I'm assuming we'll probably see some more videos from Mark as we're following along, because Manchester United should be a very interesting season. As we go into the Premier League, I know Mark mainly watches the Premier League. I am very interested to see Manchester United this season and Chelsea. Chelsea, I'm also very intrigued with this season. And Nkunku, healthy. Jackson in his second season. Palmer there as well. So there's a lot of things at Chelsea. I'm very interested to see how that goes. Interesting things this season. So let's see what Goldberg has to say. At Southgate quits England job is the title. And let's see what he has to say.
Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. Gareth Southgate has resigned as England manager.
To the point.
You know what? I'm going to be professional here and say get in. No, I mean, look, I am very happy. From a footballing point of view, this is great. I can't be a hypocrite. There is guilt. Of course there is guilt. And there will be praise. But this is exactly what England needed. And if I said to you, if Southgate had decided to stay, I'd have been done with England, I wouldn't be lying. I couldn't go through another 2 years of, qualifying easily and then, messing up in a World Cup with crap football with brilliant players. There was a ceiling to Southgate. I know there are content creators out there, journalists out there, ex-players out there who are cowards, who have flip-flopped on this, even through the Euros flip-flopped on it and said, oh, I'm behind Southgate now. I and many others have been very consistent on this. I mean, I think the first video I did about Southgate out was probably 6 years ago. I don't think I've ever warmed to Southgate as a top-level coach. I will acknowledge that he's done a good job, and I will talk about who I think should get the job now. But what are your thoughts? Because mine are this. Over the years, over the many tournaments, you'll have seen my reaction to Southgate. I think I did about 5 through the Euros saying, get rid of him, he's not good enough.
I think like 10.
Look, we're not always correct, but the big enduring thing for me with Southgate is that he will not get a job in the Premier League. And if he does, I think that Premier League club will be making a mistake.
Big time.
Tactically, in the modern game, he ain't that. He's a good man manager. There is a role for him, but I don't think it's football management. I would not be surprised if we saw Southgate working for the FA in the future or as a technical director or there is a position in football for Gareth Southgate where he has a strong set of skills. But as a coach, as a manager that sets the team, picks the team, sets the tactics, no, just severely lacking. I think he did a fantastic job in getting a very, very good set of England players to unify and basically get to places on that unity. But when you come up against better footballing teams or better coaches, we time and time again got found out. Ultimately, when you look at that final, Spain did not have the best 11 on paper. We did, but they were the better team by a
I don't know.
long way because they
England has probably the overall more power ranking rated players, but I don't know, man. Some of a lot of those Spanish players are extremely underrated, in my opinion, like entirely. I mean, we could name tons of names on that team that I think were just not properly heard about players really until this tournament. But I think I would still have to agree with that. And just opening reaction to what he had said, it's one thing. No one like Mark or myself who have been very critical both about the way England is playing. No one is mad at anyone who's supporting England saying it's wrong to get behind the team. You should get behind a team. It's like the U.S. We have the worst manager who got sacked, thrown out, right? But you still get behind a team. You still support them. You still want them to do well. It's those that are like all in with Southgate. And the problem is his style. We said this many videos on here. It's all or nothing. You have to win. the way they play. It's so negative that if they don't get a trophy, it's not good enough. And what's the point? It's not attractive. It's not pretty. So if you're not getting trophies, what's the point of playing negative, you know? Let's keep
Had the
going.
better coach. And that is what England need to move towards next. There is a legacy for Gareth Southgate, but 100% this was the right decision. I think even the journalists and the media and the ex-players and the fans that backed Southgate felt that a change was needed. And all of us who have wanted this change for a long time now take a deep sigh of relief and hope that the next decision's the right one, because the FA apparently wanted to keep Southgate. So where does that make you think they could go next? This is an FA that's given people like Capello the job, Steve McLaren the job, Roy Hodgson the job, Sam Allardyce the job, Gareth Southgate the job. So there's no guarantee that they're going to get it right. But I think when the FA are in a fortuitous position now. Gareth Southgate, for all his faults, has created an environment that England players want to play for England for, which wasn't always the case. And I think that is where I would give Southgate credit. He has created an environment where England players want to play. It would have been very easy for Luke Shaw to go, I'm not ready for the Euros. I'm going to have a summer off and get ready for Man United. He went to that Euros because he wanted to be part of that team. So that's there. That foundation is there. And the FA are in a fortuitous position because they've just seen Spain dominate the Euros playing a good style of football and a system. People like Portugal are committed to Martinez. Deschamps is staying at France. You know, that's problematic for Portugal and France despite their squad.
Oh, it is.
England are in the fortune.
I'm trying to be critical as well with the other managers because the way France have started to play, the way Portugal look, I totally agree with what he's saying. I think England is in a fortunate opportunity here to make a good hiring, man. An upgrade here because they have the talent to really do it. I believe that too. I wouldn't say that otherwise. I think they have the talent to do it. I don't think they'll win it with Kane at striker. They need to play another striker than him. And obviously I think the run-up will look a little different as, you know, Palmer continues to get better and better over the next 2 years. I would hope that Watkins is still in a similar, if not better form than he's in right now. But they do have the talent.
Position where they can look at Spain and go, right, that's what you need to do in international football. Our manager's gone. Let's go and get a manager that plays the right brand of football because we've definitely got the players. And this could be the road to the World Cup. It makes me feel inspired. It makes me feel excited, but they've got to get that decision right. But as for Gareth Southgate, look, would I thank Gareth Southgate? It would be remiss not to thank Gareth Southgate in the sense that in my lifetime, nobody's took us to 2 Euros finals in a row. Nobody's took us to a final. So, look, he has done a good job. But the flip side to that coin is second place is the first place loser. And we didn't win the Italian. I think Italy at Wembley is the game he should have won.
Yeah.
The World Cup, we should have done better, and I wasn't happy with that. And I think he should have gone after the World Cup, if I'm being honest. I think we should be doing what we're doing now after the World Cup, and we maybe would have won the Euros because people say, oh, Spain are miles ahead. Spain beat us 2-1 with an England side that was playing like Wimbledon from the 80s, booting it long, and Harry Kane was like playing with 10 men. So I don't think we're actually far off Spain in relation to the players we've got.
I don't disagree with that.
Where we are far off is in the coaching. But look, the legacy of Southgate will be that he
took you to 2 finals.
Manager who brought players together. But
in my opinion,
the tactics were dreadful. And there'll be a lot of England players that aren't happy, but there's a lot to build upon there. I think he's the guy before the guy. That's what I think with Southgate. He's the guy that makes people want to play for England again. He's the guy that breaks down the barriers where England players from Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Liverpool can come into that squad and get on together. And I think that's a good thing. They need to keep that. I think Pochettino could do that, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Eddie Howe could do that. Maybe it'll be Potter.
Not Pochettino.
But the point is, Southgate was never going to win as a trophy. That statement was one that I had for years, some of you had for years, and we were right. And no Southgate defender can argue that. He was never going to win as a trophy. And when I look, and this would be my thing, Gareth Southgate was never going to win us a trophy. And people will go, but nothing. The final isn't the trophy. Southgate was never going to win as a trophy. But this set of players, in my experience, are the best set of players we've had over a period of time, and they should be winning a trophy. And what I mean by that is 96 we got close, but 96 was very different to 90. If you look at the team in 96, very few players from 96 played in Italia 90. In a 6-year period, very different teams. You look at England from 2020 to 2024, 4 years, there's a bit of change, but there's a nucleus of players there that are still going to be there in 2 or 3 years' time as well. I still think by the World Cup, in 2026, we'll have a lot of this squad with a lot of players coming through. And by 2028 for the next Euros, both those tournaments have to be, that's the project. What the FA must not do is bring another South.
And I agree with that's the project. Besides the striker situation, which I just don't believe Kane is dynamic enough in that spot for it to work, unless you're playing just full on get in behind strikers and you don't have that double setup with Bellingham and Foden right under Kane. Besides that, I want to see players like Saka being used more in the attack. All right, because again, this final came down to them getting there from moments of brilliance. Saka is too good, man, to be this defensive. You know, it's about how these players are used as well. I think Luke Shaw and Pickford have been vital to their success as well. Absolutely vital. I thought Luke Shaw, you know, everybody's quick to forget, like Shalberto Carlos during the Euro. He was probably the reason they were in the final that year. And they should have won. They really should have won. That game they should have won. So Mark is right. And it's about the core of players. You know, will you have Luke Shaw in 2 years? Maybe. 4 years? Probably not. Jude Bellingham you will have. Declan Rice you will have. Kobe you will have. Foden will be there. Palmer will be there. Ollie Watkins will be there, I'm assuming. Saka, Stones, Mark, Pickford, right? So you will still have most of these players, which is great. It is great. You're also going to have other nations, in my opinion, to worry about in that continent. I think Germany is continuing to get better. They're not losing much. Spain, I've said this on my stream, Spain are starting to build a dynasty. And they already have their manager. They have the players. They have the style. And so England does have a large challenge. I know Mark is quick to say here that this is the stepping stone. I'm worried. Look, the right decision is that Southgate is gone. And they can bring in someone that is better. I don't know. I personally am of the opinion that I do think England have peaked. I don't think England will win a trophy because we have other nations like Spain and like Germany really getting a lot better, in my opinion. Now, could England have beat Germany in this tournament? Yes. Could England have beat France? Yes. Could England have beat Spain? Yes. As good as Spain were this tournament, they could have. If they didn't put their foot off the gas and park the bus, they had a chance. They had all the momentum in this final. But I'm worried going forward because Spain, with the manager, with the way they're looking, they're only going to get better. Yamal is just turned 17. Nico is still developing. You know, they have a lot of pieces on that team to do what they did a decade ago. It's going to be tough for teams to beat that team. And again, I'm taking Germany very seriously. I don't know about France. France to me, they have the pieces defensively, but it's going to be about France, man. They will always have that problem where can they get to that level where they had prime Pogba and Kanté together, and that was a huge reason. And Mbappe was getting service from Pogba that was out of this world. They don't have that as much now. We noticed that in this tournament. They looked very stiff out there. They didn't look like they were that free-flowing, on the run crazy team. They're gonna miss Giroud. Griezmann's not in his prime anymore. But Spain and Germany are gonna be really tough going forward. And you know, it's about how much do England build on this, right? Because Jude is gonna get better, Palmer's gonna get better. I think Watkins will continue to grow in confidence and only be better, but it's gonna be an uphill battle. So I'm worried that we get to this situation where the next manager, it's all his fault. The goal of what you want to see from England, they haven't won a trophy. You want to see them play better football with the players they have. More exciting. Unite the nation more. Not have the result of every game where they win by 1 goal, they get a lucky break, or they sweat out a defensive win be, oh my God, we play such boring football from half the fans. And then the other half the fans going, it's coming home, we won. You want everybody to be behind the team. You want everybody to say, okay, I love the way we play. It's all or nothing. So, you know, Spain would have loved, either way, whatever happened in this tournament, to play the way they just played. They just, that's the style they want. You can see it. So it's about developing that style that's pretty and beautiful and is the beautiful game. Let's finish the video. I got to stop talking so much.
Southgate in, who's a nice guy, who's a nearly man. They've got to get the right guy. And Southgate does deserve credit for that. Like, being a nearly man is not a criticism. England haven't won a trophy in my life. They haven't won a trophy since '66, which was a home tournament. So Southgate's got close, but he's not got quite there. And where you rank him comparable to other England managers is up to you, because none of them have won anything, but he has done quite well. But it's the right decision, and it should have been done a couple of years ago. He was never going to win as a trophy, and we were right to say that. So where do England go next? Look, I'd move heaven and earth to get a Jurgen Klopp. I don't think it can happen, but no. You know, sometimes you've got to shoot for the stars. Reality, Eddie Howe would be the right
Klopp
guy to
also
go
just
for
said that he wants
English,
a little break from football.
And he's the best English coach, and he plays a good brand of football. And you know,
but England is a lot better than the US, so
would earn the respect of those
players.
players.
They had a close game. Sorry, Mark. Sorry.
He gets on with his players really
Sorry.
well, but he's also a good coach. He'd be like an upgrade on Southgate. So Eddie Howe would be the number one. I get that. If you don't want Eddie Howe and you want to stay English, you're going to go Potter, who, there's question marks. And the one thing about the press is, I feel that with Potter, the press would turn on him very, very quickly, whereas with Eddie Howe, they will give him respect for a few years. And what you need is a couple of years to build for this World Cup. We don't want uncertainty. From what I'm hearing, a qualification for the World Cup might not be as easy because of the Nations League. So there are challenges there, and England can have dips. So Eddie Howe would be superior to Potter. If we're not obsessed with English coaches, and I'm not, I never have been. I know you've got to be English to play for England, but you don't need to be English to manage England. We don't have a big pool of English coaches, and we never have. So why limit yourself? I personally think there is a coach that's managed in England a lot who is massively tactical, has problems winning trophies himself, but in the club game is very respected, and that's Pochettino. I think Pochettino would be brilliant as England manager. In fact, if it was Pochettino or Howe, where would you go? If you want an English coach, you go Eddie Howe, and I'd be very happy with that. But I wouldn't mind Pochettino. People have mentioned Thomas Tuchel. I'm not opposed to us going and getting a coach that's a really good coach. Because when you look at Spain...
Tuchel is also definitely more counter-minded. I know people are going to jump on that bandwagon and say it's an L for Tuchel, but he's shown that he can win, right? The style is proven. At least there's some sort of plan and tactics to what he's doing. I don't know. There's not a lot of crazy options, man.
And you look at the World Cup and you look at what Brazil are going to try and do, and Argentina, it's going to be the teams that are well coached that win the World Cup.
I'm pausing so much because I have so much to say about this. Not only this, guys, the next competition for these guys is the World Cup, right? That's such a good point. This is not just Europe. So you are going to have some monsters at that tournament. I mean, Scaloni and Argentina they're inevitable. Colombia's playing crazy. Uruguay is going to be so tough with Bielsa. I mean, that opens up the stage to all these other teams that are crazy. It's going to be really tough.
I think France won't win the World Cup.
No.
I just think Deschamps needed to go.
I don't think so either.
With Martinez, Portugal will ultimately be weak. So realistically, from Europe, I think Nagelsmann with Germany is a good coach.
Yeah.
Italy are miles off. We don't know what they're going to do.
They're not going to win.
Spain will be there or thereabouts. We can be there or thereabouts. And then you're looking at Argentina and maybe Brazil if they can have a renaissance. So the World Cup's there to be won.
He's sleeping on Colombia and Uruguay.
There's a lot of experience in that team.
I really don't think England can be either of those two teams.
And Eddie Howe or
I just don't see
Pochettino
it.
to me look like the two to do that.
At this current stage, with the tactics,
Potter,
it's going to change. They're going to get someone new.
And I think that, there's no point going for a foreign coach unless you're going to get the best you can get. And I think Pochettino, Tuchel, Klopp would be that. Get your comments in below.
Klopp would be... If they could get Klopp, man, I was saying this even... I want the U.S. to get Klopp. They're not getting him. But if they can get Klopp, ooh, what do you guys think? I'm doing Mark so dirty on these screenshots. I'm sorry, Mark. What do you guys think? Let me know. That's going to be us done here. I don't disagree with a lot he said. A little bit today. A little bit surprisingly. I don't always agree with all the points in all these videos. A little bit more than usual today. But overall, yeah, the consensus is that we got to see now who's going to get hired. That's the next step to all this. So what do you guys think? And let me know what you think of the video earlier. I've been getting in the comments. I appreciate you guys responding and showing love on the videos. I'll see you guys in a later video. In a later video? I'll see you later. That was so awkward. Bye.